friends, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel, Sunset Bow Tarot. So I am really excited to be doing this video today. And in fact, I kind of couldn't wait any longer to do it. I've been sick, and so you might notice that my voice is a little froggy sounding, but I really couldn't wait any longer to do this video. So I had to just go ahead and do it. I promise I will edit out any coughing or nose blowing that might take place during the course of this video. But basically what I wanted to do today was sit down and take a look at this prototype of the Heartwood Tarot. I received this for review from Stephanie Burrows, who is runs Three Trees Tarot, and as you know, as always, of course, you know, all of my opinions are my own in terms of talking about anything that's been given to me for review. That said, I think Stephanie probably knew that this was a pretty safe bet for me to like this, because I am a massive fan of everything that Three Trees Tarot has done. I'm a huge fan of Stephanie as a deck creator. I am a huge fan of Adam Ohlers as an artist. I was a big fan of his, in fact, before he ever even started doing tarot decks. Like, I literally own one of his prints. It's on my wall. Like, I might insert a picture. It's like in a place of honor in my living room because I love it so much. And I own all of their other decks, which I have purchased all with my own money. I just really love their work. And this one in particular, as I've been following the creation of it, I've kind of had a bit of an inkling that this one might end up being my favorite one. If you know something about my taste in decks, you probably know that I tend to be a big fan of decks that have a strong sense of place. And in particular, one of the types of places that I love the most are old houses, abandoned buildings, that sort of thing. Like, you'll know that the Tildwick Tarot, for example, is one of my most beloved decks. And this particular deck, you know, is done similar in the style of some of their other decks, like the, you know, the Smoke, Ash, and Ember, the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, the Thistledown Oracle. But in this case, the deck follows one particular character, which is this little mouse that you can see. This is what the backs of the cards look like. And this little character kind of is going on an adventure through an old abandoned house that's sort of being taken over by nature, and as it's kind of decaying and falling apart, you know, the sort of plant and animal life that's kind of coming into this space and sort of taking it over. And that whole concept is just like chef's kiss for me. Like, that is exactly the kind of thing that is particularly up my alley. So I've been very excited about this deck. And so when Stephanie reached out to offer me a prototype, I was really excited to see it. So a couple things to note, because again, this is a prototype. This is not a final version of the deck. I think all of the cards that are here are the same cards as will be in the final version. But obviously, as you can see, this has not been corner rounded. And I understand that the deck will have slightly more saturated colors in the final version, and we'll also have, you know, a box and some packaging which didn't come with the prototype. So I'm not able to show that off, but at the very least, we can kind of take a flip through and take a look at what this artwork looks like and sort of the journey that this deck takes you on as you travel with this little mouse character through the cards. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at the brand new, soon to be released from Three Trees Tarot, Heartwood Tarot. So again, to start with, these are the backs of the cards, and they're very sweet. We've got the little mouse here asleep in the leaves. There's little buttons, and there's a little key. So again, we're sort of getting at some of those, you know, human-made objects, and you know, we are going to be seeing a sort of collision of human, you know, decaying human occupancy with animal life and plant life taking it over in the course of this deck. But I love this artwork. And so here's the title card. And so here's where we go ahead and get started. So this is our little mouse who is the fool, and we can see this old house off in the distance, and this is the adventure that this little mouse is embarking on as it starts to you know, travel through this old abandoned space. And all of the cards have the little mouse in them, along with any additional animals that represent that particular archetype for the card. So here we have the Magician. One thing I do also want to note about this deck is that it is borderless, which I love. The Oak, Ash, and Thorn deck and the Smoke, Ash, and Ember deck are not borderless. The Thistledown Oracle is. I always really enjoy borderless. I don't have any issue with the fact that their other two tarot decks are not, but it is lovely to see that this one is. And again, you know, the corners will be rounded in the final version, but here we have this lovely hair as the Magician with symbols of the Magician all around. I really adore this High Priestess because I love that she's sitting in this bowl of pomegranates, which is, you know, perfect High Priestess symbolism, along with the little scroll and the moon on the bowl. And again, we've got our little mouse friend there. Here we have the Empress, and one of the other things that I do really like about this deck is that it is an abandoned house, but, you know, there are some references and callbacks to even some of their other decks and some of the artwork that's on the walls and things like that. So it's just really sweet. It's lovely to see. So anyway, here is our Empress. And here is our Emperor wolf coming down the stairs. I love how we have rams in the artwork on the wall. So we've got that nod to the Aries underpinnings of the Emperor and the ram symbolism that's in the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the card. And here's our Hierophant. So this is just a really, really beautiful moth. And again, we've got some of the key imagery that we see in the Hierophant. We've got a, you know, closed door, but there's light shining through. So that gives us a sense of the, you know, sort of light of wisdom, you know, that the Hierophant might give you. So that's really nice symbolism there. Here's our Lover's card. This is actually the Lover's card from the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot. So I really like that reference to their other deck. I think that that's really, really lovely. And I've always loved this symbolism of the two foxes with the berries all around them. I believe that there is also another Lover's card. And I do really like this and find it interesting. And when we get to the Devil, we'll see why this is sort of an interesting take on the Lover's card that definitely has a lot of parallelisms with the way that they depict the Devil. There are also two alternate Devil cards, but I like that this Lover's card does suggest self-love because we've got the little mouse looking at their reflection in this bottle. The bottle is surrounded by poppies, which are beautiful, but obviously poppies are, you know, where opium comes from, and we'll see some interesting callbacks to that when we take a look at the Devil card, or one of the versions of the Devil card. Here's our Chariot. So we've got this lovely horse in the old stable. I love the way that the mouse is interacting with some of these other animals. Here is Strength, and we've got a little snake and some ivy. So I enjoy the fact that the lemniscate is on the little side of the door here. So we've got, again, some really strong callbacks to symbolism that's present in the Rider-Waite-Smith. Here's our Hermit. So our little mouse sleeping, surrounded by buttons and thread and and scissors, and it almost gives you a little bit of a Cinderella vibe, which is really sweet. But we've got the lighted candle here in place of the lantern. Here is a Wheel of Fortune. So we've got the mouse asleep on top of a little clock. And here is Justice. And I love seeing an owl as Justice. And we've got, again, scale imagery in this book that the owl is reading. So definitely some Justice callbacks there. Here is the Hanged Mouse. So this is dandelion and burdock elixir, apparently, or wine, potentially. But he's kind of dangling in the mouth of the bottle there. This makes me quite nervous for him. I hope he's careful. And so here is the Death card. This is beautiful. I mean, it is very sad, but you know, it definitely shows us the growth that potentially comes out of death and the sort of rebirth that might come out of it. So even though we've got this deceased bird here, we've got beautiful flowers growing. Here is Temperance, and so again we've got, you know, the two cups sort of pouring into each other, and we've got the mouse with one little foot and his tail in the floodwaters, and so definitely again callbacks to Rider-Waite-Smith imagery in the Temperance card. And so again, here's a Devil card. And so this is kind of goes with the Devil card that had the image of the foxes from the Lover's card from the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot. So this again is the Lover's card from, or excuse me, the Devil card from the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, where it's the same two foxes, but at this point they're tangled up in the brambles as opposed to you know, how they look in the Lover's card. And then here's our Devil card callback. So we've to the other lovers card. So, you know, here we've got the little mouse, but there, the mouse is tangled up in thorns, and there is clearly some kind of, you know, dark looking, potentially poisonous or addictive liquid here that we have in the bottle. So again, a nice parallel with the lover's version of that card. So here's the tower. We've got a storm happening. So the mouse is looking out and seeing the storm happening outside. But here's the star. In spite of the storm, you know, the mouse has found some hope. There's this lovely little star-shaped kind of pendant laying on the ground that is giving off light. And so that gives us some of the sense of hope from the star card. And here's the moon. Lying on an old boot, and the moonlight shining in. I absolutely love this artwork. I think it's so sweet and beautiful, and this is just lovely, honestly. And here's our sun card. So instead of the actual sun, we've got sun imagery on our little teapot here and our plate, and it's giving off some nice warmth, and the mouse is clearly enjoying it. And so this is clearly the, you know, warmth of the new morning after that storm has ended, and after, you know, the darkness of the night has passed. So here's the judgment card, and in this case, it's a mirror, and, you know, the mouse is looking at themselves, and you know, that sort of self-examination and self-evaluation and potential for future transformation that we see in the judgment card. And then here is the world. So we've got the wreath and the lemniscate symbolism that we see in, you know, the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the world. A sweet little firefly here. So yeah, it's just really beautiful. There are some additional cards that come along with this. So a couple of sort of more oracle-y type cards, and I do understand that, you know, these cards will all be in the final version of the deck. So here we have unease. The mouse is seeing a little statuary version of itself. And here we have discovery. So a little callback to the sort of star pendant that we saw in the star card. Tend. So in this case, we've got a snail that has a little flame on its back, and it seems to be tending the flame and keeping it lit. Here we have surprise. And here we have home, and the little mouse is lying on top of the roof of a little mouse-sized dollhouse. So that's a really, really sweet image. So I personally will probably take those out when I read with the deck, but they are lovely cards, and it is the kind of thing where I think, you know, you could probably pick or choose if there were certain cards that you wanted to leave in for particular readings or something like that, or maybe choose one as a theme for a reading. They are beautiful artwork. So now we get into the minors. Here we have our Ace of Cups. So we can see the cup imagery is actually kind of inscribed onto this wood, and there's some water pouring down. So that gives us a sense of the elemental symbolism. One thing that's important to note is that for the suit symbols, you know, we don't necessarily have cups in every single cups card, but we do have at the very least vessels. So in this case, we've got these two little birds, you know, cooperating with each other. They're washing some berries in a colander, and here's a little cup with some berries in it. So, you know, we do have two vessels in this image, even though they're not necessarily both cups. And here we have the Three of Cups. I love this. Just three little birds having a grand old time in a bird bath. We do have the actual cup symbols engraved into the leg of the bird bath here. So it's just beautiful artwork. I love the roses. Here is our Four of Cups. So we have our wolf, who is kind of laying there, not so interested in, you know, what kind of magic might be presenting itself with these four cups with the little lights shining above them. And here we have the Five of Cups. So again, you know, we've got a gravestone here. We've got the rabbit that's focused on the broken cups that have spilled and not paying attention to the full cups. Here we have the Six of Cups. This is so sweet. We do have the cup symbols engraved on the side of the staircase here, and then we've got a bunch of mushrooms and some sweet little frogs on the Six of Cups. Here's the Seven of Cups. So again, we've got multiple vessels here, various bowls and dishes with lots of different food items available, and what looks like a fox sort of checking out what's on offer and trying to make up their mind as to what they might want to go after. And here's our Eight of Cups. Again, we've got sort of a jumble of various different broken cups, and in a pile, you know, everything's a bit of a mess, and the mouse has decided that they're going to leave this mess behind and kind of, you know, take off into the distance. We've got a moon shining here. It's really beautiful. Here's our Nine of Cups, which is a lovely phonograph. So I love that. And we've got the little mouse riding around on it. The cup symbols are around the rim of the trumpet of the phonograph there. And here's our Ten of Cups. So we've got a bathtub, again, different kinds of vessels, but we've got the rainbow similar to a Rider-Waite-Smith Ten of Cups, and a little duck family, all of the ducklings and the duck mother hanging out in their little old overgrown bathtub here. Here we've got our Page of Cups. I always love when there is the fish imagery in the Page of Cups. I find that's just really important imagery to me. And this is so sweet with the mouse and the mouse, not the mouse, the frog and the fish sort of making eye contact with each other. Here is the Knight of Cups. So we've got this jack-o'-lantern here, basically. It looks like a gourd that's been carved into a jack-o'-lantern. Here is our Queen of Cups. Lovely deer standing by this rushing water. And here is our King of Cups, who looks like a heron. And really, I like how we have some of the actual cup and crown symbolism for our King and Queen of Cups. So here is our Ace of Pentacles. And again, you know, we do have it etched into the wood of a door. Sort of, you know, similar to the cups where, again, it was etched into the wood of a door, but rather than water, we have roses growing on the door. So we've got our representation of earth there. And here we've got our Two of Pentacles. So basically it's a snail carrying two little snails. And I love this artwork. It's just so lovely. Here we have the Three of Pentacles. So we've got a couple of spiders weaving a spider's web. These spiders do not bother me, luckily. There is a spider later on in this deck that I'm a little bit iffy on, but I can deal with it. But you know me and spiders. But you can see the spiders have woven the Three Pentacles into their web as they work together, which is really sweet. Here is our a frog as the Four of Pentacles, and we've got inside the gutter here, they're kind of hanging on to their riches. Here is a Five of Pentacles, so we've got this fox who is outside and, you know, not making their way into the house, which is maybe warm and more sheltered where the rest of the animals are. Here's the Six of Pentacles, and what we can see here is that we've got some water that's actually coming out of the faucet, but feeding the growth of the plants that are, you know, growing inside of the sink. So there's definitely some, you know, give and take here within the Six of Pentacles. Here's our Seven of Pentacles. We've got a boar. There's some laundry drying, so, you know, definitely sitting and waiting for something to complete before the remainder of the work can be done. Here's our Eight of Pentacles. I really like this. We've got the little squirrel with pens. I like this because it's sort of, you know, writing as the labor that you're trying to perfect in the page, or in the Eight of Pentacles. And I really enjoy that as a concept for the Eight of Pentacles. And I like the ink bottle and the pen as a pen aficionado, pen and ink aficionado. I enjoy that. Here is our Nine of Pentacles. We've got a happy hare sitting on top of a bureau with definite riches and abundance all around them. And here is our Ten of Pentacles. So again, we've got, you know, some books. We've got sort of concept of a tree. I always like that sort of suggestion of a tree in the Ten of Pentacles, where, you know, there's definitely some family legacy, those kinds of things suggested in the imagery. So here is our Page of Pentacles. We've got like a piggy bank, basically, with a coin going into it. And here's our little mole as the Page of Pentacles. I really like this Knight of Pentacles. This is so sweet. It's a chess knight, but it's got a little snail riding on the horse. I love that as a concept for the Knight of Pentacles. Just, you know, slow moving and steady, but we still have the chess piece giving us the sense of a knight. I really enjoy that. And here is what looks like a wolf or coyote potentially as our Queen of Pentacles. And I think this must be a kingfisher as our King of Pentacles. I do like how there's the bull imagery in the tag here on the bottle that he's sitting on, and yeah. And so now onto our swords. So again, we are at a doorway. So the beginning of each suit seems to be a doorway. We've got our Ace of Swords, and again, the sword symbolism is etched into the wood of the door. And in this case, you know, rather than symbols of water or earth, we have light shining from under the door because it's air coming through, light and air outside. Here's our Two of Swords. So we've got the swords carved here. This is the spider that might give me a little bit of trouble, but it's not so bad. I'll live with it. And yeah, it looks like the spider is sort of trying to make a decision as to whether or not they want to step into what looks like this little portal. It's full of brambles, but there's some light in there, so there might be something interesting to check out. Here's our Three of Swords. It looks like this bird has a bandage around its wing, and I do really like how the hearts are sort of shown by these upside down leaves, kind of giving you that sense of the heart imagery. Here's our Four of Swords. It looks like what we've got here is a little weasel who is napping, taking it easy on some shelves. So that was a really, really, really cute card. Here is our Five of Swords. So it looks like what we've got here is a crow, and the crow has what looks like the bones of another crow that has been defeated. So, you know, but this crow looks like maybe it's a little bit of an outcast now. There's other birds that it is not with. It's clearly triumphed over this other crow, but, you know, again, it's a little bit of a hollow triumph as it sits here in the rain. So here we have the Six of Swords. I really like how the shadows make the sword symbolism here, and we've got all of these images of ships on water in all of the pictures on the walls, even with water draining out of some of those pictures. So that definitely gives us that Rider-Waite-Smith Six of Swords imagery, but the way that the shadows are done on the ceiling is extremely cool. And here is our Seven of Swords. So we've got a little rabbit here holding the sword, and that sword is missing from the set of swords hanging on the wall here. Here is our Eight of Swords. So we've got a bunny here, and there's clouds hanging all around it from strings, you know, kind of obscuring its vision, making it feel hemmed in. But of course it has the scissors around its neck, so it could take care of those anytime it wanted to. And it has all of these sword blades sort of pointing inward at it. Here is our Nine of Swords. So we've got the owl sitting on the chair, and all of the swords actually stabbed into the fabric of the chair. And here's the Ten of Swords. So we've got grief, sorrow, and despair as the titles of these books, with the swords stabbed into them, but we also have some butterflies flying away. So again, there is that sense of rebirth, the end of a cycle. Even if the cycle ends badly, it is the end, and there is a new beginning encompassed in the Ten of Swords. So here we have our Page of Swords. So sweet little owl with some stars, and again, the sword symbolism etched into the wood. I really just, this is just so sweet. Here's our Knight of Swords. And here's our Queen of Swords as a lovely snake. And here is our King of Swords as what looks like a hawk, or you know, some kind of predator bird. I'm not sure exactly which, but that is our King of Swords. And so finally here we have our wand suit. So here is our Ace of Wands, and again our little mouse is sitting on the door. He's sitting on the handle, ready to open that door, ready to go off into, you know, whatever new adventure awaits him behind this particular door. And again, we've got our wand symbolism actually etched into the wood of the door. And here's our Two of Wands. We've got a little bird with a compass and checking out what looks like the floor plan, and, you know, maybe trying to figure out what the next place is that they want to go. And here is our Three of Wands. And again, we've got a badger in this case, with the three wands are the sticks right there on the wall, and making a decision to start taking the first steps to go up the stairs and see what's up there. And here's our 4 of Wands. This is so cute. These little mice on an old cake that has mushrooms growing on it. But definitely a sense of celebration there. And here's our 5 of Wands. We've got these 2 birds fighting with each other. But, you know, clearly the real problem is that they're inside this glass dome. They're fighting each other and not fighting the real problem, which is a very good depiction of the 5 of Wands. And here's our 6 of Wands. We've got a little hedgehog here with a cup, a trophy cup. So definitely some 6 of Wands energy there. Here is our 7 of Wands. We've got this little rabbit here inside of some rose brambles kind of hiding out. So definitely a sense of guardedness and self-protectedness. And here is our 8 of Wands. We've got some fish. There's a flood inside of the house and the fish are kind of jumping out the window. So definitely some motion and excitement in the 8 of Wands. And here is our 9 of Wands. It looks like our bat has been a little bit injured. It has some holes in the skin of his wing, but it's hanging there upside down on the lamp before deciding whether or not to take off again. And here is our 10 of Wands, and it looks like we've got the little squirrel who's been bringing wood for the fire and definitely has gotten to the point where he's been able to lay down his burdens and take a little bit of a breather by the warm fire there. And so here is our sweet, sweet Page of Wands, and I do really like how there is some kind of hidden in the spots of this fawn here. There is some of the salamander symbolism that you see in the Wands court in the Rider-Waite-Smith. So it's kind of hard to see there, but it's there in the spots. Here is our Knight of Wands, who is what looks like a weasel, a stoat or a weasel. I like the little helmet up here. So we definitely got a knight there. And of course we've got again the salamander. And here is our Queen of Wands, a hare with a ladybug. So, and finally here is our King of Wands. Again, we've got the salamander there up top, but we've got this very, very fierce and leaderly looking wolf as our King of Wands. And then there are a few just sort of keyword cards at the very end here, just to kind of give you just a couple keywords for each individual card. I do understand that there is going to be a digital guidebook for this deck, so that is something that, as usual, you know, I know for environmental reasons they don't typically print their guidebooks at 3 Trees, but they do usually publish a digital guidebook to go with the decks if that is something that you're interested in. So that again is the Heartwood Tarot. I have been so excited about this deck and I think it is just beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I have a really, really strong suspicion that this is going to end up being my favorite of the 3 Trees decks. I just really, really like the imagery and I love that whole concept of, you know, this being an old abandoned house where the animals have sort of taken over and you know, that's again, the very strong sense of place and scene and setting that I always really, really enjoy in a tarot deck, and this really has that in spades. So I've been so excited about this one, and sorry again about going through this with a real froggy voice, but I hope that you've enjoyed taking a look at this prototype with me. So just as a preview of what's to come here, I do know that 3 Trees will be sending out an email to their email subscribers, giving more details about this deck, and pre-orders for the deck are going to be opening on May 3rd. Again, you know, just to make sure everybody is aware, this is just a prototype. The final deck will have rounded corners. It will again have slightly more saturated colors in all the artwork, and it will come in a tuck box. They always have beautiful sort of embossed tuck boxes that are provided with all of the 3 Trees decks. So that will be part of the final version, but at the very least, what we've had a chance to do here is kind of walk through the artwork and see the symbolism and all of the beautiful details that are encompassed in this deck. I'm super, super excited about this one. So I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at it with me. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great one, and bye-bye.